The pictures tell the story. This life had many shades. I'd wake up every morning, and before I'd start each day, I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray. Down a little something, then be on my way.
Hey guys, David here with the Whiskey Rebellion. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Just flipping fantastic.
That's good.
Peachy.
Like to hear it.
Yeah, just fine.
Very nice. Our dear leader shall be joining us at some point, so he says.
Oh, we don't have any leadership.
No.
I'll make sure he knows that.
We took a vote.
He knows that.
And there is no leadership. Oh, that's not going to be a metaphor for anything. Anyway, happy to have everyone back tonight. I certainly needed a drink. I tend to wait till this phase of the week to be like, yes, I can have one or two. I'll be okay. There's no judgment. Everyone's where they're at, but this is how I do. I kind of hold out and go, we'll save it for Thursday. So first, what is that?
That was not me.
Someone's got ghosts in the machine. Anyway, want to know what everyone's drinking tonight before we
Jody
get into
trying
our...
to get in.
Yeah, all right. I'll make sure to kick him right out. But I will start. This is one I've brought on the show a few times before. This is Town Branch. This is their single barrel reserve. Fine Dog shampoo from our friend Mark. Have been continuing to enjoy it. There's not too much left to enjoy. I like this one. He seemed like he wasn't sure if I was going to be into it or not, but I dig it. It's got, fairly kind of, I don't want to say overly standard. Well, here I'll say this. I'll call them out on their own product labeling by saying this is woody oak aromas. That's standard. Hints of caramel, brown sugar, and cherry. The caramel, yes. Brown sugar and cherry, no. But they are distinct tasting notes that I enjoy in this. And I quote, smooth finish. So you did it to yourself.
That word.
You did it to yourselves, Town Branch. But for all that, I'm enjoying the bottle. Okay, don't let that turn you off. The fact that it said smooth finish. I'm guilty of it occasionally myself. That's the way it goes. Oh, we got Billy. Hang on a second. I'm bringing Billy in here.
All right.
Mr.
Billy.
We're high class now, man.
Trying.
Hanging in there.
Barely. Shit.
Yeah. What are you sipping tonight, or are you working early?
No, I'm got a little
quality
mixed with the Bacardi 8 and some Coke. Trying to get ready for Saturday with making sauce and ribs and brisket and pulled pork. Is no time, like literally no time.
I know that feeling.
Yep.
Not quite as bad as you've got it, but I know that feeling.
It's hard out there.
So,
well, we appreciate you taking the time out and joining us.
Yeah, I was absent last week, so let me give it a shot.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Speaking of gracing us with their presence,
Who is that?
wait,
Welcome to the show.
Phone. Speak of gracing us with their presence.
Wow. Now we are high class.
Now we high class.
Mr. Mal.
Man, look at this.
Granddad.
We're 2 away from having the Partridge Family here, or Brady Bunch. That's what it was.
Congratulations again, Mal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I can barely hear you guys. I need to sort my mic settings out here, so carry on without me.
Okay, very good.
Carry on without me.
And then, Mr. Baker, I'm only here to say, Chuck, you should become a blender. Call your stuff Wise Guy Whiskey. There you go.
I kind of dig that.
That's actually
that's
pretty good
pretty good.
branding.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I mean,
You better hurry up
like
and
it.
trademark that.
Yeah,
A
good
random
idea.
text message, is this dangerous? Yeah, probably. Okay.
But anyway,
That looks
so
like
thank you for welcoming me back to my own show.
And your name was?
Yeah. So I unfortunately I've been being a full-time parent has been relatively we'll call it eventful. Like for example, my son initially told me, he goes, "Hey, me and my friend Jacob," and I think I told Billy this, my friend Jacob and John Lee, we're going to drive down to South Beach, Miami to go to a 3-day rap festival. I'm like, the fuck you are. That's not going to happen. There's no
Talking
chance.
about Rolling Loud.
I don't know what it's fucking called, but it's like in
Yeah.
May or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah, that's Rolling Loud.
I'm like, nope, you're not doing that at all. And it's not just because he's extremely Caucasian. It's because he's also arrogant as fuck. And I don't think he would even know if he was in a situation until it was already too late, right? So that's been a challenge all by itself. And then work. Oh my God, work's been crazy. So, but anyway, hey guys, I'm back. I'm here. I wanted to be here. I want to be here on time, but I called David and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm in traffic. We're moving 2.5 miles per hour." And
Sounds like Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
All
So
of
so there's only like 450,000 people live in Nashville. Apparently, they all get off work at between 5 and 6, and they all go on I-65 southbound. Unless you're on I-40 or 24, then they're also there too. I don't know how they can be in two places at one time, but they apparently can. And so it's always an entertaining little thing. So yeah. And I'm drinking water. So if anybody wants to know what I'm drinking tonight, I'm just having water right at the moment.
Just some high quality
I
H2O.
can now hear you guys. I've sorted my
Wonderful.
technology.
Cool.
We're all
There
good.
you
So
go.
great to see you all again.
Yeah, it's great to see you,
see
brother.
you,
Yeah,
man.
good seeing
And
you.
did you and Sharon have an anniversary?
Probably since the last time I spoke to you, yeah, because it's been a long fucking time.
No, but I mean, like it was within the last 2 weeks.
We've had 3 actually.
No,
since
in the last 2 weeks, we have celebrated the birth of our second grandchild. We now have a granddaughter as well as a
Yeah.
grandson.
Nice,
Wonderful.
but didn't you guys
So-
also have an anniversary like in the last? Or it's in the last month.
I
Is she
hope she
watching the
does-
show?
I hope she doesn't watch this, and I'm thinking possibly not. No. Stop fucking with my head, dude. No, I didn't. No.
Okay, well, either way, I thought that you guys
No.
did recently, and I just want to say happy anniversary and absolutely congratulations on the grandchild. I hope that I don't have any of those for some time, because otherwise I would be very fucking pissed. I'm just going to put my foot would be squarely placed at
That's the real reason
son's-
you can't go to South Beach.
Yeah, my son
Probably.
would have my foot squarely in his throat from his ass.
Jesus. Well, listen.
Thank you for both. Thank you for both.
Speaking of anniversaries, so today marks exactly 3 years to the date that me and the wife moved in here, and exactly 2 years to the date that we're ready to go.
Well, I've already called you guys and told you where to go.
Yeah, I know. And listen, if your son was to come down here, even though you told him you couldn't,
No, he's not coming down there.
this is the one place he could
You're
come.
not taking. You're not taking it to the Dirty Rabbit.
Dirty
No,
Rabbit.
no,
Dirty Rabbit. Dirty Rabbit.
Dirty Rabbit. Yeah. He'll get a Lamans to the Dirty Rabbit one way or another.
One way or another. I'd be like, yeah, Jody, he's in the lost and found. You got to come claim him.
You can only be found if you're lost, Bill.
That's it. And being that he's so Caucasian, I can't claim him as mine.
Even if you're trying to do ultra possessive of minds, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's lost in the Dirty Rabbit for a week, I'm sure you could, Billy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious.
So go back to what we were drinking. Gene, what are you drinking?
Yeah, seriously. Thanks for getting us back on track.
I am enjoying some Sagamore rye. It is their sherry finish. Quite delicious. I haven't got it all figured out yet. Right off the bat, when it hits the nose, it's like a freshly open container of Fig Newtons.
I thought you were going someplace else, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm on the wrong show." But
Yeah, but no, there's nothing about little people about this. But
no, that would have been the right show for
Fig
me.
Newton
Like a bunch of
on the
midgets,
nose,
I'm totally down with
it's
that.
right off the bat. Fig Newtons. So far, I'm getting on the palate. I'm getting like black cherry. I'm getting some almond, a spice, which I'm leaning towards ginger on that. I haven't quite figured that out. It's kind of wavering on me. So I haven't got it all figured out yet on it, but it is quite delicious. I just cracked this bottle this evening. I really don't believe this bottle will see Monday.
No.
So I'm going to have to pick up some reinforcements.
So can I cut in real quick with that? So
no.
Okay.
It's all beautiful. What's up, man?
So the part of the reason why I'm not drinking tonight is because that bottle of Heaven's Door, that barrel pick, store pick from Elixir, I don't really, I mean, he's like my nemesis. You know, like when you have that Newman character in your life, Tarek, that's it's same. All right. So I don't want to like him. Like, God damn, dude, that pick, it just, it's gone in a week. I bought it last Sunday. It was finished yesterday. It's 125.6 proof. So
probably burned a hole going out. Yeah.
Yeah.
David says, I like Fig
106.
Newtons, but not sure I would like that in a whiskey.
It's
now you hear that because
you don't taste Fig Newtons, but when you first bring the glass up, when I was working with it earlier and hitting on the nose, that's what I thought of right off the bat was a freshly opened container of Fig Newtons.
Yeah, I think there's probably no one who could better speak to this than Chuck when he talks about some, especially some of his more off the wall, like tasting notes of things that he picks up. They're like, well, I wouldn't want a whiskey that tastes like that. It's a little more subtle than that. It's not like you just took a sip and you're like, ooh, Fig Newtons.
Oh, yeah, right.
I just
matter of fact, I get
Newton.
no Fig Newton flavor with it whatsoever. A little bit
It's
of black.
it's more to do with the memory or the suggestion of.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they're in there.
That's what it reminded me of right off the bat.
Like
and it's not Fig Newtons that you go back to. I mean, this is a fresh, open container of Fig Newtons. You just open that thing up, and that smell that comes out from it. That's the first thing I thought of when I smelled this. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's delicious.
No, it sounds good. I really just wanted someone to speak to that. The idea of say, even if it did taste, having a tasting note of Fig Newtons on the palate, you're like, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like it would be.
I do agree. I wouldn't want to drink liquid Fig Newtons.
Right.
But that's not
No.
what we got.
But then at that point,
Speak for yourself. No.
you would actually think that it was, well, you would have to assume that it was flavored at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that's funny you bring that up. So that's an interesting conversation altogether, is the flavored whiskey, right? Like I was at a really nice place today this afternoon, and I was having I was having a Manhattan, to be honest with you, but a couple of them. But the point I want to make with it is I was looking at their drink menu, and there was a lot of flavored drinks, like the peanut butter whatever with whatever that peanut butter version of
The
whiskey
Screwball
is.
thing?
Screwball.
Screwball,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was that, and then there was some orange flavored bullshit, and I was like, wow, people really drink some asinine junk.
Fireball.
Your Jamesons, you can get orange flavored Jamesons and shit now. It's not good.
No, I mean it's totally different from like sherry cast or port barrel cast or even
The
beer
difference
barrel
between
or
flavored and finished, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, or even honey barrel, right? So all of those are generally finished. These are flavors added to whiskey, and so I'll be honest with you, I feel like a snob in a way when I'm like, this just, I'm not doing that, right?
No, yeah.
And I'm not drinking it. I'm just not going to do it.
You're not a snob at all, dude. You're a traditionalist.
Yeah,
There you go.
because Go ahead.
You're
Rob.
not
You
going
should
that-
not have put that in his arsenal, because damn it, there'll be no end to it now. It's not. Did you watch that just walk into the lexicon in his brain? Did you just see that? We
That's
need
one
to,
of the words I
rewind
use
the
for
tape.
myself.
I was like,
That's one of the-
fuck, he's gonna say that.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree with him wholeheartedly. I you know,
Absolutely.
I don't need cinnamon to drink whiskey.
yeah.
I don't
No.
need
Fireball.
peanut butter. I
Fireball.
don't need peanut butter to drink whiskey.
I think
Or banana.
to muse on
Banana.
that briefly.
Howlerhead.
Yeah, like that thing that you posted tonight, Chuck, with the Elvis crap. Peanut butter, banana, bacon, whatever the flip
yeah.
that was.
Yeah, the Elvis drink. Yeah,
Yeah.
My God.
that's because he liked those sandwiches.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
That's
burn
probably
them
why
up.
Yeah,
he's
that's
dead.
cool and all, but you
Yeah, I
know.
mean, that's has a lot to do with probably the reason why he died. What were you gonna say, David?
That's why none of us are dying on the shitter.
I was gonna say just.
Well, no, wait a
musing on
minute.
that,
Time
like,
out here. I don't like that's my number 2 way to go. No pun intended. I mean, number 1 is,
Hey,
whether it's with assistance or manual ejaculation. But the
like Blazing Saddles.
second option is on the shitter. Absolutely. That
Wind
would be-
assisted ejaculation. Honestly, that paints a fucking picture for me. That dude. Sorry, carry on.
I said
Leave me with that
unassisted or manual is what I said. Or, I'm sorry.
No. Just
Assisted
leave me
or
with
manual.
wind. Just leave me here sitting on my own with the thought of wind assisted ejaculation. I'm good.
Did it involve midgets?
Well, I mean that's
In my head, yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely. You can spin those little fuckers around, and you don't have to worry about elbows or knees or anything. hitting
No, I
you.
figured, with the size of their hands, it would feel like enormous to them.
Oh, totally. It would.
Everything-
and by the way, it
everything
is shaped like a
functional.
tuna can, but it's not very long. So,
Well, let me
David,
get
you were
back
going
on
to say
track.
something.
I
Let me
was.
get back on track. On top of the flavored alcoholic beverages, me and the wife, we don't do flavored cigars as well. To me, it's just hideous.
Yeah.
I think it's a gimmick. There's not a lot of people doing it, with the exception of acid cigars.
Billy, I'm a huge acid fan. I really am, dude.
Listen, I love Drew Estates. I love their product,
Yeah.
but that acid stuff, they can keep it because it's just horrible.
I am a big fan. I don't smoke them exclusively, but I do go back to one every now and again.
The only
I am a fan.
acid I'll smoke is the Extraordinary Larry, because it's not overpowering, and it's a 60 plus gauge ring gauge, so it's got that.
I like a Cuba. I like a Cuba every now and again.
And see, here
Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking about black and tans. But hey, real quick, I do want to bring up something that Billy may be able to talk more about, hopefully. But so Billy had seen when I was at my house cooking, and I do the barbecue sauce all in a saucer all by itself with a skillet, small skillet, right, on my grill. And that's how I do it. Well, the other day I decided, you know what, I'm gonna put some rye whiskey in it. Holy dog shit, that was fucking fantastic. Like, you could totally bring out all the taste and everything, not only with just the Cafe 305 bourbon flavor, but no pun intended, or also shameless plug, but you could totally taste that, but you could also pick up all of the rye whiskey notes. And I was like, this is fantastic. So from this point on, though I've always used whatever cheap stuff that I've gotten over the past as my cooking preference, I am going to use rye whiskey from this point on. That brings out so much flavoring, not only in just the sauce, but also in the food itself. And I couldn't believe that. And so I've been waiting to have this conversation with you because I'm curious about it. Why is that?
So when it comes to alcohol mixed into a food product, it's a building block. So whatever you add to it, the flavor's still there, and you can build on top of it with whatever you're seasoning with, or a sauce or something of that nature. Now, if you flambe something, that's different, because when you flambe something, which for everybody watching who don't knows, that's when you actually ignite the alcohol. So you burn off the alcohol taste, and you're just left with the flavor. So when I did the bourbon barbecue sauce, I didn't burn it off. It actually replaced a third of the liquid. So when you get bourbon, it's because you get a lot of real bourbon. So for a batch, it's almost 60 ounces of bourbon itself in the total mix. So you can build off that. So if you have something like a honey Chinese 5-spice or nutmeg or something like that, it will actually sit on top of it and you'll keep it. Because normally you don't boil sauce like that where you end up boiling all the flavor. The only other time you can lose alcohol flavor is when you use it in the baking products. So if you're gonna make, let's say, a rum cake, you still get a good bit of the rum because you're not burning it off. But if you was to make ice cream with beer or some sort of liquor, because you have to heat the custard, you would then lose some of it at that point. Yes.
All right, so to kind of change subjects real fast, on a side note, I'm sure all of us know that Jerry Springer died today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
79 years old.
79 years old. I don't know how he died yet. I guess I could look it up. Maybe they'll tell me. But that dude, we all have stories about Jerry Springer and some of the stuff I mean, you can pick out some of the stuff that you found to be the most hilarious, but the whole shock jock aspect to radioing, like Howard Stern and stuff like that, he brought into
television.
That was mainstream television,
and was still doing it till, like, I guess last week or so, right? Like, he's been doing it forever, right?
Yeah.
And amazing. And he was, I think he was the mayor of Cincinnati at one point.
Yep.
And it's
that was before he did the show and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he had that guy Steve,
Steve Wilkos.
Yeah, Steve. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name, but Steve Wilkos, who I think did a show of his own.
He's got his own show going too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that guy brought probably a lot of what we have problems with in our world today to the forefront of 3 o'clock everyday TV, right? And I consider it very pioneer-like, right? And even though I may not have been a huge fan, there is some shit on there I just absolutely love. You knew it was going to be a fight every time, and if you just knew,
how formulaic it was.
The one redeeming thing that I remember reminds me of Billy, be good to yourself and each other.
Yeah. He did say that all the time. That is true. I forgot about that.
Take this with a grain of salt, but I knew somebody who went to an art school in Nashville for high school, and I was a girl I dated in college, and she would tell me that, at least according to her, that everyone who came on that show as a guest was an actor.
I believe that
they auditioned, like out of that high school, people auditioned.
Oh wow!
And and would try to get parts either in the audience. The person who would get up and heckle the person on stage, and then they would go up and have a fight, and the girls would pull each other's hair.
Well, not only that, they also wanted their Jerry beads a lot of times, and so that a lot of times they would flash their boobs and stuff. But even if that is the case, let's just say that everything you just said is absolutely 100%.
Yeah, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Can't verify for myself.
Well, what I'm saying is that that's still very much a pioneer of that type of entertainment for TV.
Oh,
right?
without a doubt.
And
the precursor.
I mean, it's like I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day with Ric Flair, and if you haven't listened to it, you need to. It's fantastic. But to listen to how Ric Flair, like, I didn't even know that dude was in an airplane crash.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And everybody died except for him and another dude, and the other dude is paralyzed.
So did he get up at the crash and was like, "Woo"?
Nobody talks about how that came about. So you have like it's Joe Rogan, Ric Flair, and then like some type of Ric Flair super fan. They're all in the show together. And it's fantastic. It was very interesting, and because I've gotten where maybe other people are like this. I'm so burnt out with politics and stuff of that nature. Like, I'm just tired of it, and so I purposely try to avoid those type of podcasts right now. So I've really been listening to a lot of random nonsense. And he had another one that was the next day with Dr. Somebody who was talking about owls and coyotes. And one of the things that was fascinating about the owls is that they like to take cats out of people's yards. And I was like, I didn't realize they were that big, but they were talking about them. They found this one owl that had 75 collars at the bottom of its roosting spot in the tree.
Wow.
From where it had pulled a bunch of cats.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, you are an asshole.
Yeah.
He didn't like cats.
Kind of
man.
like the Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Hey,
They
but
are
on a lighter note, what does Jack Frost, Don Lemon, and Carson Tucken has in common?
Y'all been fired from a show?
Oh my
Oh,
god. Oh, shit.
damn.
Boom.
Billy, I feel like you were holding on to that one. Just waiting.
Oh, my goodness.
You have no
For
idea.
the show. I'm gonna come on just for this. I swear we had a topic, guys. I swear we did.
Oh, I didn't hear the topic. What's the topic?
So we discussed briefly in the VIP, but it's kind of a continuation of last week's show. We're talking about kind of like what would you do if you were running or were the owner of a liquor store? You know, given situation, we talked a lot about allocations and how you go about kind of dispersing them last week. But this was like more about the bad behavior that you see from, say, customers, or not necessarily bad, but like maybe annoying behavior that you would see from customers. The kind of guy who would, or girl, or whatever, would come in and ask, you know, stupid questions or be obnoxious or just want to know about your allocations, got any Blantons, like rolling in, somebody you've never seen before, this kind of thing. Like, how would you, because remember, you're still, I mean, this isn't just pie in the sky. You're running a business, right? You can't just tell this guy to fuck off. How do you deal with that? I mean, everyone wants to say that they can, but imagine, you know, if you can get some money out of this guy, at least maybe it's worth talking to, you know, maybe try to get him to purchase something else, you know. Chuck, you're muted, I think.
Chuck, you're muted. But before we do that, I want to know what Chuck and Rob are drinking.
But one thing to keep in mind is what are those behaviors that the customers have that you would dislike as the store owner?
How we got to that real quick is because this is what the Whiskey Rebellion is.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking Shanks tonight.
Oh.
Shanks?
Wesley said, sorry. Woo! Sending out my way. Damn cats in my yard. That's
right.
One way to get rid of them, and also small dogs, probably.
Straight.
Anyway, all right, back to it. Chuck, sir.
Oh, yeah. So I was just drinking, you know, like I said, just drinking Shanks. This one is the 2022 release.
Nice.
You know, I really don't have to explain that one. I can't really explain it tonight anyway. My sinuses aren't doing too well because I was out cutting the grass today. But
Welcome to allergy season, eh?
yes,
It's going to be
pollen
this
season.
year.
I have it 365 days a year. Like I had COVID symptoms long before COVID was cool. Just saying.
Just
Continue
saying.
on.
Just in.
Show must go on.
All right, so
Give it a
Rob,
brave
what
face,
are you
don't crack.
drinking? Is
Power through.
I am drinking, inspired by my friend Gino from last week. I'm drinking, it's a Liberty Pole local distillery. This is a distillery release only. It's their peated rye. It's delicious.
So I think we ought to find a midget that can work for us. And every time we say pole, they have to spin around on like a stripper pole.
If we
I
don't
think
know
that's
how
what we need to do.
first.
Okay.
Is this
Calling
like a
somebody a
Springer-esque like sideshow? Like every time someone says a
Kinda
certain
like
word, you have to
in
cut
like-
away to a midget on a
Kind of
stripper
like
pole.
that. The man show where they had women on
Trampolines, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this
yeah.
would be
So
midgets.
whenever we hit that
or little
topic,
people, whatever you
we
call
would
them, I
cut
don't know.
away, and they're spinning on a pole.
There you
Oh
go.
my god.
That was what?
So
Alex
basically,
Adam?
every time somebody says it, you just foray into this little person
Boom.
Yeah. That's
spinning
it.
around on a pole.
You know, that might increase our viewership.
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't want to see little people?
All we got to do
On
is
a
get
poll.
Adam Carolla on the show, and we're good to go.
Well, Adam Carolla and I would probably be close friends, but his buddy Jimmy, whatever the fuck, that guy, Jimmy Kimmel, that guy's turned out to be a great giant douche machine. Like he just sits around and has like old woman pussy all over his face all the time. Like he's just a horrible individual. But anyway, back to the show.
So he likes cougars?
Nothing wrong.
No,
with
I'm talking about like if I were to explain him in a.
I thought you said you were real sick of politics.
This had nothing to do with politics.
You did say back to the show as well.
Oh yeah, back to the show. Hey,
here's some midgets on Pulse.
Shit. We have like a commercial break.
Have some Kansas music playing.
30 seconds of.
And go.
I'm drinking Never Say Die bourbon.
Never
Nice.
say
Oh, cool.
die.
It's got a horse on it. Must be a Blanton's product. Not just playing.
It is
Is it
not.
like Black Sabbath related or something?
It is not a Blanton's product or a Black Sabbath related product at all.
Okay.
It's the first ever English bourbon.
No, it's no
cool.
such thing.
Yeah.
There is no such thing. No, there is not no such thing at all.
So it's an English whiskey.
It's not. It's a whiskey that was distilled and aged for 3 years in the States, and then put on a boat and shipped over to England to age for a further between 6 and 12 months.
That's cool because that makes it. That does make it a bourbon, but it's not an
It does.
English bourbon. It's a.
But
US
it
bourbon.
was
kind of
aged
like Never Say Jefferson's.
the last 6 to 12 months of its life was aged in England and bottled and distributed. And this is a British Bourbon Society barrel pick, which is barrel number 1.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And it is, let me think, let me do some quick mathematics. 136.4 proof.
Woo!
Whoa.
Oof.
That's some
That's
kind
a
of whiskey chimera, like
if
monstrosity. I kind of dig
If
it.
I can just finish off by saying it is fucking spectacular.
There it is.
Ooh.
Nice.
Very nice.
So
Absolutely. Never Say Die, named after a horse that won the Kentucky Derby, I believe, a long time ago.
There you go.
Okay.
So if I owned a liquor store,
Are we
and
back
I
to
had-
that again?
yeah, I mean
The topic.
Damn, we're back on topic.
Jody.
I'm trying. So if I owned a liquor store and I had somebody come in and they only wanted to buy those allocated products, it would depend on the product and how much I had, but I would definitely save more for my customers who buy other products as well, because I think you have to do what you need to do something to retain your customers.
Absolutely.
Because if they're only coming in just to buy that and you don't have it, it's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And as a store owner, as a business owner, regardless, if somebody walks into your dealership or walks into your store or your online store, you have to do something to keep them. And once you have them, that's the hard part, you know?
Yes.
So you don't want them to leave empty-handed then?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you know, even when we do the pop-ups, you know, we always encourage people to, you know, take a sample of the rubs and here are the other sauces.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest problem that we have is, so if they taste 8 different sauces, they're going to buy something. They just don't know which ones they're going to buy.
Yeah.
So you want to do something to keep them there and to buy something. I would say out of 100 people that walk up to our table at the pop-ups, I would say 98% of them buy. You know, last weekend we did brisket, we did hot links, and we did pulled pork. I sold out of the brisket, damn near sold out of the pulled pork, but they bought food and they bought sauce. So definitely, you know, we have our regulars that come in. So I would definitely save something, a unicorn that I know, one, that they have the coin to buy, and 2, they're going to come in and replenish something that they finished already and they just want to have a backup of it. But I just wouldn't give it to anybody who walked in the door.
Right.
You're not keeping a customer. You're not
Right.
making any real money on that. You're just
No.
not.
Because then you're looking at the other thing is the people that come in just looking for allocated products and leaving, saying, "Hey, I'm out." I don't, want any of your Wild Turkey 101, whatever else it may be. As a store owner,
if you don't have what I want, I am leaving without anything.
yes,
Yeah.
and that would make me as the store owner consider the thought of thinking that you may be that person that's out there leaving. If you left with that bottle, that single bottle or two bottles, whatever it may be, that you may be that person that goes out and wants to sell it out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It could be something like maybe, I'm not a fan of it. I don't need a fly-by-night. I don't need a hunter to come into my store.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had the availability, if I had the allocations, it could be something where I could set up like a 2-tier price scale in my store. And I would have the listed price of that unicorn at a max profit for myself. But if one of my regulars came in, he had a totally different price.
Yeah.
Now that could be some way that you could operate it where you're still making a sale and you got the unicorn hunter, you're going to make an outrageous sale. And you've got your regulars that you want to keep. The guys that are in there every week picking up a bottle of their favorite or whatever, or trying something new. You're making them a deal. They realize you're making a deal because they see what you got that posted for.
Yeah.
So you increase the loyalty of that regular customer.
Here's a question.
Could work out for you that way.
That's what you want at the end of the day. What you want at the end of the day is a regular customer, somebody who is prepared to hand over their pounds or dollars on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Right.
For what you have, and you want to keep them sweet. And yeah, you're right. You're absolutely bang on. It's what you said.
What about the customers that come in?
It's a relationship, isn't it?
It is.
We've discussed it before. We've discussed this before ad nauseum. It's a relationship.
Right. What about the customers that come in and they're basically the customers that say, "Hey, I just followed the delivery truck in. I know when you get your deliveries, I followed the truck in. I have some information that I received from a friend that suggested that you have one of these allocated products on your truck."
We have an inventory that we'll get to it by the end of the week. It might be on the shelf by Monday.
He is no friend of yours. He's lying.
But you see what I'm saying? We've still got to inventory that yet. We'll probably have that on the shelf by Monday.
Okay. Because there are folks out there that will
follow the trucks.
And that's their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to inventory that, man. I can't put it out right now. Sorry. Come back.
This is how some of these people make a living.
And frankly, I don't want people whose only intent is to follow my truck, because you may have allocated bottles coming in that, frankly, you've already made phone calls to some of your top tier customers, and you're like, "No, I don't have it." You won't even get their hopes up because they'd be like, "Oh, you got it, but you won't sell it to me."
No, but see, that's why I said it'll be on the shelf by Monday.
So
that's key word, by Monday.
Monday.
That's
okay. So that means question. I'm calling Chuck. I'm calling Rob. Hey, dude, we just got a delivery of this. You interested in this? If I can make that sell to my regulars, I'm making that sell to my regulars. And by the time Unicorn Hunter gets back on Monday, if he comes back, yeah, dude, I'm sorry. It was a rush on this store. It's gone.
But if you do have more, it could be $500 instead of $200.
Boom. This is how rare it is. Yeah. This is
whatever you've got left over, you just spunk the price. Yeah.
There you go.
I guess
take care of my regulars first, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing with something like that, with a truck chaser or whatever you want to call them. That simply a statement like, "Hey, what I have for sale, you see on my shelves already." right? What I have here now is what I have to offer, whether or not it's behind the counter or on the shelves somewhere. That's what I have for offer to anybody walking in the store right now.
Yeah.
And whether or not I have anything else in the back, if it's not on the shelf,
None of
it's
their
not
damn
currently for sale.
If it's not on the shelf, it's not for sale.
The important thing I think to remember is this isn't just like isolated bad behavior, because you don't want someone who is a regular customer or even a casual customer, someone who comes in every once in a while, see somebody else breeze into town and get something and then breeze right back out.
Yeah.
When it's something that you're like, well, I've been coming here for X amount of time. Things like this were never offered to me. I never acted this pushy. And as a result, I'm missing out. Like that, you're rewarding this bad behavior in front of me when I've been
That
a
does
loyal
happen,
customer.
though.
Like you don't ever want that to happen.
You're losing your loyal customers.
David here says, would that really matter here in Pennsylvania where all the liquor stores are owned by the state? It probably doesn't matter to management if a customer is regular or not. Depends on the store, right?
It depends on the store and the management.
Let's get a Pennsylvania guy to speak to this.
I can help you with that.
Yes,
Chuck just said it. It depends on the store and the manager. We have I'm in a local group, and one of the managers of local, what they call a premium collection store, which is they tend to get the nicer stuff. They'll get more of the allocated product that goes out on their shelf. They'll get more Blanton's, Weller, whatever. And we know that he was given some information out behind the scenes in the group. Somebody in the state caught on to it, but it still happens. But that's the only way. I mean, that you get those things. And if you follow the state system and you kind of see when their inventory jumps on a product, you probably know that a truck is coming there that day. You can look on the state system and see if they've got 12 bottles of something. You know that they're getting a truck that day. Now you've got to be there. Like a lot of the state stores, the Virginia stores that are getting the lines that are 30 people long before they open, and people get in line at 3:00 in the morning to get something. But it happens in some stores. It doesn't happen in some stores. That's just the nature of the beast.
I'm wondering, even in a state-controlled store, I'm just wondering. I don't have any connection to that. But I'm just wondering if, you've got a delivery of allocated product and you do have your regulars who are looking for this allocated product. I'm wondering if you just don't stock it on the shelves that day until your regulars come in. It's like, hey, your bottle came in. Are you interested?
Well, I've not heard of anything like that in PA. What, like with things like Blanton's,
just wondering.
Evil Rare, Weller.
Yeah, I mean they got nothing in the game. They're just going to put it on the shelf because they're all state employees.
No, actually,
but I'm just wondering, in like some place it's state controlled, a state controlled liquor board where everything's got to go through the state.
They won't put those things on the shelves. They will all sit behind the counter, and you've got to go to the counter and 2-bottle limit. Here's your 2 bottles. Here's your 2 bottles of Blanton's. Here's your 2 bottles of Eagle Rare. There you go.
Cool. Okay.
And also, I think sometimes you just have to look around at your local stores. Last Saturday, me and the wife walked into Total Wines to get some cigars, and just sitting on the shelf all by itself was that Frank August. Just sitting there all lonely by itself. It was the only one. So when I saw it, I picked it up, and I carried it around debating if I was going to get it. And it wasn't about the price. It was more about just waiting to get some intel. But I knew enough not to put it back on the shelf, because if I did, when it got cigars and came back, it would have been gone.
Yeah, it's popular.
Yeah. And I've never seen that anywhere, not even at my local store. And I get phone calls all the time, and I've never gotten a mention of having that particular bottle. So I think
How
sometimes
was it, by the way?
I'm a crack it this weekend.
Okay.
So would it be safe to assume that calling, your local stores or any stores, in the general 100-mile radius, looking for Blantons and allocations, makes you as a store owner not want to deal with customers because of the large influx of calls and people coming in, waving the door, whipping the door open. Hey, you have Blantons? Okay, thanks, bye.
I mean,
Does that make you want to not deal with the customers like that?
No, I mean, if they don't even have the common courtesy to walk in,
That's not a
strike
customer.
up a small conversation, and then gently ask, that's one thing, But just to whip the door open, which I've seen people do, it's no, it's I
That's
don't,
not a
I don't.
customer.
It's not.
Well,
it's not
they're the
customer
ones that are
retention.
called bourbon bunnies, basically.
Oh,
They're just
yeah.
hopping from store to store.
Yeah, but really, you look at it, that's not a customer.
No.
The customer is the guy that's coming in the store is going to buy something. He's going home with something today. He's
And
a
as
customer.
as a consumer, I'm not driving 100 miles for Blanton's or Eagle Rare.
Oh,
I'm just not doing
No,
it.
there are people that do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
every
there's
day.
plenty of
Yeah,
people
they're
that do.
crazy.
What about the people who, I might put myself more in this category, wouldn't be the allocated or the super hard to find, the Blanton's Eagle, where there's some bottle that, I just can't find, but it's not allocated. It's just a little bit hard to find. Maybe there's not that much of it around, and it's not because everyone's, chomping at the bit to get a hold of it. It's there's just not that much of it around, or
Or
maybe
it's just not
maybe
distributed in your area.
or in my area that it's
Or-
pretty rare to find, like I was
get
looking at a bottle of I think I have the Eiffel whiskey, which I think is German, and I have like their single malt and their rye, which when Jeff was more active on the show, he had brought that rye that I absolutely love. Like I'm not above calling around being like, hey, do you have the Eiffel
No.
rye? Because like I would love to go
But
find that.
Here
Is
would be
that
the-
is that
here
to
would be
you
the
guys
thing.
less offensive or
That would be less offensive, but it would all
Right.
depend. Are you one of my regulars? Are you a regular customer of my store?
let's say
You're a
assume
regular-
I'm
okay.
not. Assume I'm not.
Yeah,
I
but
would
it's
say-
not an allocated product, so I
It's
would
not
an
not,
allocated
I would
product.
not be worried
My
about
answer would
looking
be-
for that.
Right.
I'll see what I can do, but
I'm with Chuck on that.
really wouldn't break a sweat trying to find it for you.
Okay.
But
That's
if you're
fair.
a
Since it's
regular,
not
if you're a
allocated, I
regular,
wouldn't
if
have
you're
a
in my
problem at
store
all.
every week, I'm going to say, hey, let me talk to my distributor. I'll see what I can do.
But if I was in your store every week, I would probably already know. 'Cause I've
But-
probably already been up and down that shelves looking.
Dave, you're looking for this? Let me talk to my distributor. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
with a product like that, I think that, with David mentioning the Eiffel product, that could make David one of your or my customers, if I were to
Yes.
find it.
Yeah, if you hook me up, and if I know that's the place
that's
I
the
can
thing.
go to get
I
it,
wouldn't break a sweat to try and find it, but I'd see what I could do.
yeah.
But with Blanton's or with all the Weller and all that other stuff, I would not even be interested in, entertaining that because of the influx of calls that I would receive from everyone else. I would think David would be just like everybody else.
You're right.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess
But-
because I'm just kind of reflecting on my own experience, like I've become loyal customers of stores because they've found something or spent a little bit of effort to look for non-allocated, just maybe you can't find it everywhere. And they had a conversation with it was just a conversation with me about it, and then I would talk to them about it, say, hey, you keep stocking this, I'm going to keep coming back.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, they keep
Yepper.
stocking it, and I keep coming back. That was
Well,
actually one of the things that happened
I
with
got
that
two stores that
Zafra
do that.
rum that that Jody knows that I'm big on. But actually I haven't had it in a long time. But like I became a loyal customer of that store over that bottle because I knew that was the one place I could find it. It's still the only place I can find it. Is that one place in what won't matter to you guys, but Spring Hill. But like, so I keep going back there, like even years later.
Well,
So-
I mean, the fact that you took the time out to have a conversation with me will change my mind on like Gino said. I may not kill myself, but I'll make a phone call, or I might just happen to have it in the back and haven't put it on the shelf.
Mhm.
So that's different,
Mhm.
And if you come in for that particular bottle, non-allocated, you still might pick up one or two other bottles.
Yeah.
So now I'll know the face, I'll know the name. It's the start of a relationship.
Yeah.
Or if I can supply that need, it's like, okay, Dave, hey, we just got some of this in over here. It's fairly similar. You might want to try that.
Yeah, and I would be into that too. And I was thinking, actually, as someone, if I was on the the owning side of this, and somebody came in looking for one of these kinds of things, it was allocated this and that, might be like, hey, don't have that. But if you're looking for something with that kind of a flavor profile, or something that's a poor man's this or whatever, maybe try these other things. And if you can entice them, maybe you get something out of that. You can turn it into a positive situation.
It's like Chuck pointed out about a month ago. The John Bowman single barrel is a clone of Blanton's. A lot of people don't know that, but Chuck knew it, picked up on it right away, and I got a bottle, and 100%.
Well, the green label's Colonel or E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, didn't know.
Haven't found that one yet, but
the other one, the red label was Blanton's.
Yeah,
or is Blanton's.
That's the one I've got.
Yeah.
So can I weigh in on all this? So just listening to you guys talking about it and stuff, and I don't know how to say this the right way, so I'm gonna try to not say it the way I said it to one of my colleagues the other day. Everything you guys just said is nonsense when it comes to running a business. You need to maximize revenue, right? The only way to maximize revenue is to make sure that you treat all customers the same. All right. Now, are there relationships that you'll build and stuff of that nature? Of course. All right. And could those people be on the release list of things of that nature? Absolutely. But I can tell you, if I owned a liquor store and I had some guy come in looking for an allocated whatever the fuck, I'm going to give it to him. Because that, unless I've already called one of my regulars and said, hey, look, I got this one saved for you, and I know that they're good for it. But otherwise, I'm going to sell them whatever they want, because here's the reason why. One is, I know that if they come in and buy it, then they're going to come back another time to do the exact same thing. Right. And if they sell it in the parking lot, I don't give two shits about that either. My job is not secondary. My job is the primary sale, right? So that's beside the point. Now, do I disagree with secondary? Of course. Do I disagree with price gouge? Of course. All of that. Do I disagree with, in my opinion, the $10,000 limit at a place so I can finally be part of the allocated group? I do. I think that's a failed business model.
Well, that happens a lot, and we all know who. There's a family that does that.
Yeah, the Patels. We can just say it out loud.
Yeah.
Somebody even honked the horn after that. So that was awesome.
Honk if you fucking hate the Patels.
No, that's not true. I don't hate the Patels.
No, but see, you're going right up what I was talking about, though, too, Jody, is like I would have a 2-tier price system.
I don't agree with the 2-tier price system. Like, for me, what I look at is maximizing revenue. All right.
Yeah.
So if let's just say the go-in rate in the state of Tennessee for Eagle Rare was $59. We all know that that's overpriced, but that would be a good price right now in the current economy. All right. But say it is, and I have 10 of them. I'm not going to bundle them. I'm going to sell you.
Yes.
I'm going to sell. And if somebody comes in and says, I want to buy all 10.
No,
I disagree. I'm going to sell you all 10 because my end result is my hip national bank, not his liver or his hip national bank.
I'm not worried about his liver.
All right, but you're missing something, Jody.
What's that?
Okay, you what is it? You had 8 or 10 Eagle Rare.
I said 10. Yeah.
Okay, so remember, with the system, the 3-tier system, and how sales go in this one, you have to buy a certain amount of Wheatley vodka, cinnamon schnapps or whatever it's called, and all these other products in order to get that Eagle Rare. So you're okay. You're telling me you're okay with selling these 10 bottles of Eagle Rare to one person. Now you have to sit on all these other items that you had to purchase in order to get those.
See, and I'm not disagreeing with what you put up there but that's a different aspect that I'm bothered by. All right. So, companies, that's part of their company distribution list, is that they're wanting to do, you need to sell so many of these to get so many as other replacements. That's, to me, that's a failed business model as well. And that's talking about, like, you shouldn't try to push stuff that don't sell, right? So, like, as a business, if you say Cafe 305 was out there and you were selling, another shameless plug, but you were selling all of this original OG barbecue sauce, and then you put out the Alabama Slammer, and though these people would be fools, nobody liked it. But you kept making it. That's a you issue as the producer, not a consumer issue. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to know your consumer. I get it. They want to sell anything they can, but that's not their market. Like Weekly Vodka sucks. But maybe what they should do, if I was working for the distribution organizations, I'd say, hey, look, let's repackage this, put it in plastic bottles. Those fucking drunks that go in and buy all kinds of shit, just fucking sell it to them. Who cares if they die, right? So you're just doing what you do. So just sell them the vodka. I don't mean that derogatory, but let's just call it what it is.
No.
Here's
the thing.
I think in the last 5 minutes we just encapsulated late stage capitalism.
No, but here's the thing that I've got. The problem I've got with Jody's model. Here's the problem I've got with your model. I've got 10 bottles of Eagle Rare, and I sell them to Joe Blow the Hunter. I've got my regulars who are buying the other stuff in my store.
No, I said
who can't have that now.
You can definitely send out, like, when you get an allocation in.
Definitely. I take care of my regulars first because they're the ones that keep my store open.
And that's where I disagree with you is that the person with money in their pocket, that's who keeps your store alive.
Not necessarily. If I've only got 10 bottles, Joe Schmo is gone with his 10 bottles. Next week, I've got to make my bills. I don't have the 10 bottles of Eagle Rare that Joe Schmo is looking for.
No, and that's a distillery issue. I mean, we just talked about
that's beside the point.
Right.
I've got to keep my doors open and the lights on.
Yeah.
I need something to sell. Joe Schmo's not buying anything because Eagle Rare's gone.
Mm-hmm. He got what he wanted.
Boom. He's down the road. He's bunny hopping down the trail.
And again,
I think actually Sazerac would like a word
my
with
regulars first, then Joe.
I didn't hear
Schmo.
what you said, Chuck. I'm sorry.
I think Sazerac would like a word with you because their business model has been working incredibly well. I mean, because of, keeping this FOMO going with keeping products back, and distributing things the way they do.
Supply and demand.
It works perfectly.
Right. So there's a supply and demand aspect. So what they're wanting to do is create a demand for something else, right?
Yeah. But it's all basically selling all their other shit in order to make you buy all the, this.
Right. And I get that component. But what I'm saying is that's still a supply and demand. So what they know that they have a demand for this product. They have no demand for this other fucking product. And their philosophy is put them together, mesh them together, and then sell it that way. All right. Whether it's bundle or make it a requirement for whomever is the proprietor of whatever shop, right? So I get that. What I'm saying to you is that that's not how business should work, right? If you create something, and it, like I used in the analogy earlier, and people don't want it, and you keep putting it out there, that's a you issue, not a me issue, right? The consumer has the right to say, I don't like, right? And in the aspect of Wheatley Vodka, the reason why I said if it was me, I would, because of the way Wheatley Vodka is marketed, I would totally do it different. I think they could increase sales if they put it in a plastic bottle and maybe even made it what's those little pint size and do some of those as well and put them up there behind the thing, and all your fucking drunks come in and they buy it. All right.
Yeah. Just rebrand.
Yeah, like a relaunch of the brand. So I think that would be better than making it such a. It is. It's a beautiful looking bottle and everything, but it's when you open it up and you have a taste of it, it's shit. All right.
But if you rebrand it, just rebrand.
It's still going to be shit, but
it's
drunks
still
don't
shit,
care.
Yeah.
And also, I think we have to keep in mind that depending on what state and what area you're in. So, for instance, Total Wine and Spirits, where we go out to buy cigars, the store is probably 70% wine and accessories and everything else, and the other 30% of the store is rums, vodkas, bourbons, whiskey, beer. And their humidor is probably less than 2% of what it is that they sell.
Yeah.
It's just people happen to know, okay, I can get what I like to drink, and they have cigars, so it keeps me from having to make another stop. You know, so you based off of what they have, you know what they have on the shelf regularly for cigars. So if I stand in line at Total Wines, out of 30 people, maybe 6 of them have bourbon or whiskey. Everybody
Yeah.
else has wines, vodkas, rums, beers, sodas. So they don't make their dime on the bourbon. They just, we gotta have it. So I mean, literally in Total Wines, it's about 2 shelves, maybe 2.5 shelves of actual bourbon and whiskey. Other than that, Total Wines, kid you not, there's probably 10 shelves front and back of wine.
Yeah, but with Total Wine, a lot of their stuff is private labeled.
Yeah.
A lot of it. And they try to sell all this bullshit to you that, you know, you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Mal, you're up. Oh, you were going to say something?
No. I was just saying when I was up.
You were okay. You were just. Oh yeah, the time. Yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. This is a good conversation though. So
now we get into it.
Oh, shit.
but again, so
guess I'll pour another.
let's think about why, for example, Sazerac does what they do with the Wheatley vodka and stuff.
Well, it's the carrot and the stick method.
Right. It's totally that. But I think they're missing. And so think about what they produce. The vast majority of their whiskeys are either allocated or not what the typical alcoholic would drink. Could we agree on that?
Can you give us like a rundown of what these would be products?
Yeah. So like obviously Blanton's, Colonel Taylor, or E.H. Taylor, I'm sorry. Then you have, you know, Buffalo Trace. God, there's so many.
There's like the big 5.
Eagle
actually.
Rare. Yeah, you got Eagle Rare, Weller.
Yeah, that's it.
Then you got Pappy Van Winkle. You got all of these. So these are
carrots.
Right. So everyone knows those, and people are always going to buy those, right? And then isn't it Benchmark also made by
Buffalo Trace?
Buffalo Trace as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we would agree.
Great product for under $25.
Right. And I would agree with you. But my point being is that, so that's kind of like their staple entry level. Would we agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. So then they decided to turn some of this unaged stuff into vodka, right? And I think what they're missing is, as a business, now don't get me wrong, they're doing great, all right? But I think they could capitalize more on the market share if they would rebrand the Wheatley vodka and look at the people that they're missing. I just told you, Benchmark, $25 whatever dollars, roughly probably out the nation for it. All right. That's their low end. But if they had Wheatley vodka and they had a pint for what, $10, $12 or whatever, I mean, it's definitely not worth more than that. But if you had that, and then you had the plastic, you know, gallon version of it, and then maybe
they want
a 750 milliliters of plastic as well. One, you cut costs there because you're using plastic versus glass, and you're also allowing for less damage to happen during shipping because you're not going to bust a plastic bottle normally. But let me finish. And then the last thing is, you're then climbing into a different demographic as well that may over time either die, which is fine because you don't care, you're the business guy, or become users or are now buying products that are at the Benchmark, and then at the Benchmark to then they're now looking for other products because they liked how the distilling was. And I think that's the market they're missing, because then there wouldn't be a need, in my opinion, to then bundle, or you have to sell so many of these. Actually, why don't you help the people
legs
sell
of their own.
Right. Help the people sell it by making options
Flavors.
that are available. You could do that too. You could do flavors
Because
as well.
you could rebrand it, add flavors, and the kids would buy it.
Yep. I mean, it's the whole thing like with Bud Light. You know, Bud Light made their debacle the last couple of weeks. All right. And it cost somewhere around $7 billion worth of depreciating stock exchange. Sorry. So there was a loss in that. Now, have they recouped some of it? Yes. So it's roughly about 30%, not even 30%. They've grown roughly 30% from where they lost the most. All right. So that's how the stock market works. But when you look at it in that perspective, we all have had a Bud Light in our time, I'm sure, right? And we all know it's shitty as fuck beer, right? But if we're one, poor, if we're two, in college, that's who's drinking Black Label Jack Daniels. That's who's drinking vodka.
Mhm.
That's who's drinking Smirnoff, right?
I was drinking Yingling.
Or Yingling, yeah. Or I was drinking
Hey,
I was drinking
Here's one for you, Rob.
25 cents.
Stonies.
I was drinking
There
Lucky
you go.
Lager. I was drinking Lucky
Stonies,
Lager.
man. Drink some Stonies.
If you don't know what a Lucky Lager is, that's like, I think it was for a case was like $7.
Oh,
$8.
dude,
Mickey's
you're
Big Mouth,
overpaying,
baby.
man. We get
Mickey's.
$4.99 case of Stonies.
Or
Or
Rolling Rock.
Yeah.
Rolling Rock,
First of all, I
yes.
don't hang out with Rolling Rock. Everyone I've ever known that's had a Rolling Rock and they've been with a woman, that woman's ended up pregnant. So I've always steered clear of those.
Yeah. See, they
Just
found the
being-
rock and rolling rock.
I'm just saying. I don't know if it's in the water, but I'm not going to touch it.
So,
Way back in
fertility
the day
beer.
when I was in college, it was $4.99 a case for Stonies.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like when I was in college and in the
boom.
military, it was the cheapest fucking beer you can find to get hammered
I
as
see
drunk.
light, man.
Icy Light. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ice
yeah.
House, right? Which is
Yeah.
also a Budweiser product, which I found out recently.
AKA
right?
old frothing slosh.
There. Oh.
But anyway,
Oh.
so where I was
I
going
still
with
have
that
some of those cans.
is that
Yeah.
every one of us, any person in here can say that image of.
So
I'm
it's
trying not to
you.
watch
It's not
that,
you.
but
It's
yeah, I
not-
know. I'm
and
trying not
Fig
to watch it.
Newtons. I see
But-
light and
Gotta
Fig Newtons.
have Fig Newtons with Icy Light, man.
But you know, if you
Oh.
were to look at it, everyone knows
Nice.
that's the demographic that buys it. That's the primary source, or that blue collar guy just
That's
got
why I
off
was
work
saying
and-
add flavors to it.
right, and
Kids would go nuts
he's
for
picking
it.
up. Well, Wheatley vodka, and this is what I think they're missing there, is that I don't know if it's great. I know that I wouldn't like it because I don't like vodka, but those people that do purchase it or that typically purchase vodka products, there's only really like two types of people that are involved in it. Well, I guess more than two, but two primary people who are trying to get drunk, and then people who like quality vodka. And I think we can all agree that's not Grey Goose vodka, right? So,
Grey Goose sucks.
Not at all. Not at all.
well, I mean, I'm just saying
Totally,
that
man.
most people
Going
look at
Tito's,
that
man.
and Tito's would be another, yeah.
Totally.
Tito's is
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
So it's not your top of the line. So why not rebrand it and make it available
And
to the
flavor it.
masses? And you could flavor it like, I mean, like people
No, because
love
the
people love like
flavors-
raspberries. Yeah,
That's
I
a pretty
mean,
good idea, actually,
college
because
kids go ape
There's
shit
no
over the
such thing
flavor
as fucking
stuff.
top
man.
quality vodka.
they do have their platinum line after that. So they have the platinum 7 times and platinum 10 times. So you could take the Wheatley, put it in plastic bottles, flavor it like they did with that.
Pinnacle.
What's that White Claw
Pinnacle.
shit they have out now? That vodka that's flavored.
well,
they could-
where's Jack at? He could tell us.
Is he still in it? Jack,
oh
you
yeah,
here?
they probably have
Ah!
a Truly vodka right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but these distributors or the distilleries, they also sell a lot of those cheaper products to the bars and hotels.
Right.
If you
Right?
think
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Real-
That's
real
what
mix.
well drinks are. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. I mean, so your places like, your local dive bar, even your places like your Hooters and your what is it?
all of your chain restaurants.
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
they all have a bar.
Applebee's, all of
Oh,
them.
well,
Yeah. So that's why I think those distilleries make a lot of their money, and they just happen to have it in a store. And people have this thing now when they have like pool parties, they'll get 5 or 6 different cheap bottles, pour it in the cooler, add some fruit to it.
Shit, that's been going on
That's
for a
the-
long time, dude. That's called
Yeah.
Hunch
Jungle
Punch.
juice,
I've been
brother.
doing that. Yeah, Hunch
Mhm.
Punch is what we called it. Got
Yeah,
Hawaiian
exactly.
Punch, bunch of fucking
I
fruit,
can't
and then
I
you
can't
pour as
drink
much.
vodka at all. It turns me into an absolute
You-
fucking certifiable nightmare.
Yeah, I have. That's one of the
So,
2 times
I
I
wanna
ever
see it.
died in my life was one of those times.
Yeah.
And it
every
was
single fucking time I drink vodka, I just no.
no. I don't.
It
I
didn't
don't
need to be
do
vodka.
vodka.
It was whatever was cheap that we were
No,
mixing tonight.
PGA is what we were doing with it back when I was a kid. Damn, I shouldn't say it loud. My kid's running around somewhere, but I don't need to be-
He's taking notes. All I have to do is watch this.
Yeah, there it is. But yeah,
Jody,
no, I
Jody,
know exactly
Jody.
what you're talking about there, Mal.
Jody,
It was
you
By
asked
the way,
Sharon. You asked Sharon.
it's a good time to mention
You
you
have-
guys should like and subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Jody,
Hey,
Jody,
Yeah.
give yourself. Ask Sharon what I'm like when I drink vodka. That's all I'm saying. Ask Sharon.
Well, I don't do it. The last time I had vodka, I had I had what I thought was rice come out of me, but I noticed that I hadn't had rice in a couple weeks. So I'm only assuming it's the lining of my stomach that came out of me. So
Yeah.
it was
If
horrible.
you were
thanks,
asked
David,
Sharon,
thank you for joining
Dave,
us.
thank you very much.
Yeah. He says he's
If
got to
you
go.
ask
So
Sharon-
that's the rest.
if you asked
He looks
Sharon
forward
about
to it.
me drinking vodka, she would say he is an absolute fucking arsehole.
Yeah, I don't.
And I
So
would
so
agree.
but like
I would
so are
agree.
you on vodka all the time then? Like explain this to me.
No, he's never on vodka because it turns him,
Yeah, I do have vodka in the
Into
house,
that.
but that's for the wife for mixers. Yeah,
The only thing I
I
use-
don't partake.
The only thing I use vodka for is to help tenderize pork butts. That's it. Use it
there's
as
that
part of
too.
a brine.
Man, I had
That's
some
it.
great
That's it.
pork tenderloin the other day. But hey, listen, we're 11 minutes past the time.
Great
It's
show.
been fun.
tonight.
It's been real.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad we got to talk about this. I'm glad I got to stay quiet for a moment and just listen to you
Hi,
guys
Dave.
point out some nonsensical things that were related to business. But it's all good. I'm just playing with y'all. I think we all have valid opinions, and I think it's fun. So, guys, with all of that being said, there's Mal's favorite thing, and I haven't said that in a long
Fuck off.
time.
With all that being said, fuck off.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
thank you
What's
for
your
watching.
Yeah, everybody have a wonderful night. What is it? Be kind and be safe to each other, or whatever. Be polite, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Be good to yourselves.
Yeah, there you go.
yourselves.
Be good.
All right,
Be
gentlemen. I'm
good to
getting my ass
yourselves
back
and
to
each
work.
other.
Love you all. Thank you for watching.
That's
All right,
right,
guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.